right. Peace and love, family. Welcome to the Sacred Sisterhood. Today, we're going to be exploring a topic that's so important for us women in a world that often tries to bring us down, and that is embracing our feminine power. And who better to guide us into this journey of self-discovery than our special guest, the phenomenal founder of the Divine Sacred Wellness Tribe for Black Women. As a pioneer in this field of holistic healing and a fierce advocate for women's empowerment, I'm sure she has some powerful wisdom to share with us on how to tap into our feminine energy and use it to manifest our deepest desires. Ladies, this is the perfect opportunity to learn how to connect with our divine essence and harness it in a way that serves us best, creating abundance, joy, and success in all areas of our lives. So get ready to be inspired and empowered by what this beautiful soul has in store for us today. Sit back, relax, and let's dive into the magic of our feminine power. Welcome and thank you for joining us. Welcome to the Sacred Sisterhood Show. This sacred space is all about empowering women to achieve their best selves in all aspects of life. I'm your host, Callie Divine, and I'm so excited for our in-depth discussions about spirituality, mindfulness, and personal growth. Whether you're just starting your journey or looking to level up, the Sacred Sisterhood Show is here to support you every step of the way. Our guest and I share our unique experiences and perspectives to help you unlock your hidden potential, tap into your inner goddess, and find your purpose in life. So sit back, grab a cup of tea or wine, and let's get ready for some good vibes and positive energy. I am pleased and honored to introduce Downisha McNeil. She is the founder of Divine Sacred Wellness Tribe for Black Women. She is also the owner of Hurt to Heal Spiritual Life Coaching Services. She believes that we all need to find ways to transform our pain into power.
Yes.
That's powerful. Our confusion into mindfulness, our pessimism into purpose and peace. And sometimes we just need confirmation we're on the right path. And whether someone needs advice, counsel, a mentorship, safe space, or their healing, or just a heart that may understand without judgment or bias, her services are here to help Black women conquer their fears and achieve their own divine goals and purpose. Her main priorities are to help women get past their fear, stigma, and any conditioning that may prevent them from living their best, most confident life. As it is her desire, through the divine experiences, others will be reminded of their own divinity, how sacred they are. She's a certified life coach with an associate's degree in general studies, a bachelor's degree in psychology, and a master's degree in mental health and wellness counseling. What?
I'm papered up, baby.
Yes, you are.
And certified
yes,
on top of being already divine.
Kudos to you. Yes.
Yes.
She's also a master shadow worker, healer, and soul doula, helping Black women make friends with their shadow and redefine the relationships they have with themselves and others. One of her favorite sayings is, "You deserve to be filled the same way you pour." That's deep. We got to get into that later. But welcome, Goddess. Thank you for joining the show. It is a pleasure to have you on, and I cannot wait to get into this conversation today.
Oh, girl, thank you for having me. I'm excited. I'm very excited because this is a topic that a lot of women are seeking to understand for themselves at a level that they can take the tools immediately and start transforming their life. So I'm just excited to be here. I'm excited to share my story. I'm excited.
Listen, myself included.
Platform with you, beautiful goddess, and
thank you.
I'm just excited to give what I have to the people. So let's get it started.
Yes. So before we get into the conversation, this deep conversation that we're going to have today, I want to just kind of open up with a little icebreaker, and I share this with every guest. We're going to do a thing called Spin the Wheel, where we're just going to ask you a little personal question about your life, and let's see what we find. So I'm going to share our screen.
Okay.
And pull it up here. Let me see. Sure. Okay. Let's get a good one.
Let's give me a good one.
Oh, I like this. This is a good one for you. Words of wisdom. So this is pretty simple and straightforward. I want you to just think about a mantra or a quote that you revisit often to help keep you balanced, grounded, and focused? Just your favorite mantra or your favorite quote that inspires you.
Okay.
And I'm going to give you 60 seconds to think about it, and we'll be right back shortly.
Okay.
Peace, Goddess. Now, before we dive into this episode, I have something special to share with you. Today's episode is brought to you by Goddess Training Camp. Imagine being part of a community where we celebrate and embrace the essence of womanhood, creating space for one another, like the goddesses we truly are. Well, listen, Goddess Training Camp is where it's at right now, and I personally invite you to join us. Sis, let me tell you, we're all about empowering each other and rooting for each other's success. If you want to connect with like-minded women, engage in uplifting conversations, and surround yourself with positive vibes, join us. The doors are open. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter too. Oh, and don't forget to hit that follow button. It means a lot to me. You can also join our private social community at www.goddesstrainingcamp.com. It's where you'll find all the juicy details about upcoming events, workshops, and resources that'll help you discover the powerful goddess you truly are. Plus, the next 50 women to join the bronze level are absolutely free for 1 year. Just use the coupon code listed in the description. We gotta support each other, and together we'll slay every day and elevate to new heights. So whenever you're ready, you can share your favorite quote.
One of my favorite quotes or just things that I live by every day is you are the creator of your reality. Meaning that everything you think becomes a part of your lifestyle. So create it. Don't be afraid to create what you want to become. I one thing I told my tribe, it's another thing, another words of wisdom that I tell my people is that I became so we all could become. So therefore, that means that I have to create what I want to become. So therefore, everything attached to me can become that as well. So that is my words of wisdom. You are the creator of your reality, and everything that you want to become. Know that there are others that are attached to you. So in that, just be. I'm big on just being, and just being is creating life, creating your life, giving birth to life, creating what you want to have and what you want to be, and whatever that looks like for you, that's what it is. So create. That's the big thing.
That's nice. I like that.
Create. So
I like that. And I live by something similar to that as well. You are definitely the creative. You're a reality, and I agree 100%.
yes.
It is hard sometimes when you
Mm-hmm.
have those negative self thoughts though,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, you have a little birdie in your ear kind
Mm-hmm.
of steering you off course. I'm fully aware that my thoughts create everything that
Okay.
I see, my actions
Mm-hmm.
create everything that I see, but it's still hard when
Mm-hmm.
you have life hitting you from all sides, and you just have to keep that focus and that balance and that positivity. But I can definitely resonate with
Yes.
that message. I can definitely resonate.
Because when you use that and have that understanding that you are the creator, you look at things that are coming towards you. What I have been doing is looking at those things as a portal, as a door for me to walk into what I already desire to create. So, Nanisha, go into that door so therefore you can be the creator of what you already want to have, because that's why it's aligning with you, because you want to create it. You know, I don't look
Mhm.
at it as I used to look at it as negative things. Now I look at it as a portal to get to my higher self. That's my higher self telling me, hey, it's time for you to start creating a new life, or it's time for you to create a new space, create some more time, create
Mhm.
more love, create more fun. Creating is not just something that we do as far as like painting or creating just ideas. It's also creating a whole new mindset. It has so much to do
Mhm.
with wanting to be okay with what you're creating too, and not looking at it as it's coming to take you out. That's the old mindset. This new mindset, I created that in my thoughts, so why did I not see that in my realm, in my life?
Right.
It's the creation in my thoughts. So just because I thought it doesn't mean that it's going to come to me the way that I thought. that I saw it.
Exactly.
I got
So
to
yeah, you
create
do
what I
have to
thought
have, hmm
the way I want to see
and
it.
you have to have a level of acceptance where you
Ooh,
just have to let the universe work with you
mm.
and work for you
Yes,
and just bring it into your life without trying to control
yes.
it. Now that's my biggest
Ooh,
problem,
girl.
right? And then also what happens when you're in a certain mindset state or a certain you're used to a certain way of living, such as being like in poverty or so or
Mm-hmm.
something like impoverished and not having and living in a lack mindset,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to create a life of abundance. How do you kind of, this is off topic,
No,
but
no, go ahead.
how do you like transform that into,
Mhm.
thinking more along the lines of an abundance, having an abundance mindset, and stop living in lack and stop blocking your blessings, because that I'm number one, I know that I have blocked so many blessings because I'm just so trapped in reality and just like caught up in the moment, in the fact that I don't have it now, but I want it
Mhm.
so bad that I'm just like blocking. So how do you transform that mindset?
Um, Understand that time doesn't exist,
Ah, yeah, that's
and
true.
that if time doesn't exist, then what I want to have is right now. It's here. It's
Mm,
already here. So what I've been learning over the past couple of weeks is I need to change my momentum of how I feel about my lack. Because when I'm paying for something, just example, I go to the store and I think I got my groceries came up to $100. I'm like, dang it, all I got is $100. That's all I got to spend. That's negative energy. Putting that into the RAM to continue to keep that mindset of lack so money can't find you. So if we start thinking with a positive momentum when we spending money, you know what? This money coming right back to me because money is an energy. So there's no
it
need to
is
think of
currency.
things in
Yep.
a lack in that space because I had a hard time. I'm like, man, I start speaking things and putting those things out there that were negative, and then wondering why my life and my money wasn't flowing to me. Even though I don't see the money, I should still have the momentum that the money is already coming. The money is already there. The money is already existing. Why am I thinking from a space of lack and where I used to be? Because that no longer exists in my realm. Where did that come from? Started going through doing my work.
Mm-hmm.
Where did that come from? Why do I feel like that? I no longer have to feel like that. I'm safe now. It's safe here, Danisha. There's no
Mm-hmm.
longer no need to feel there's a lack in anything because everything I need, I have. Everything I want, I can get it.
Mm-hmm.
I start having a conversation with myself like, girl, look, get yourself together because it's no need
Yes,
to feel like you don't have nothing because you are source. And if you don't have the money,
absolutely.
then how can you attract the money to come to you, whether it's from another source, meaning a friend, or somebody may give you something, a words of encouragement that triggers for you to, oh, I got an idea to get more money coming in. But when we close our mindset, we don't allow ourselves to be in the momentum and the energy, because after that one positive thought of like, oh, I got what I need, another thought comes, which is positive, right? Then another thought comes. Now you're out of the wheel of lack and into the wheel of abundance. So
Mm-hmm.
changing my
I think
momentum,
that's the hardest barrier.
I'm telling you,
Changing your momentum.
changing
Mm-hmm.
my momentum and my energy and bringing it up to a frequency to know that time doesn't exist. I am in the here and in the now, and I am source. So therefore, if I'm source, then I lack nothing. Money is energy. So if money is energy, if I can attract people the same way that how do I put it? If I have learned how to, and that's called the law of attraction. If I have learned how to attract certain things, why can't money be in that same type of realm? Because it is. When I understand that money is energy, and money is an attraction. So how do I change the way I want to attract money? By changing my momentum of how I feel about money. Every time I spend money, I'm not thinking like this is my last. Oh, I got more coming.
Mm-hmm.
My
Mm-hmm.
utility bill might be $500 this month, and I'm like, wow,
Tell
what?
me about
But you know what?
it.
I ain't tripping. It's how the universe works for me. Let me call, and maybe I can get an extension. This is me. I don't know about anybody else. I can use all my resources. Let me call and let me see. Yeah,
Get that payment plan in, right?
yeah.
Yep. Uh-huh.
Because it doesn't just mean that you're going to get that money monetarily in your hand. Other things will work out. And I have to keep telling myself that even in the situation. So when I'm calling, maybe my utility bills about this is real life for me. Maybe my utility bill is like $500, and I'm like, I have to stop for a second, and I have to gather my thoughts, gather my feelings, and gather my emotions before I make a call to even try to get a adjustment, or even try to
Mm-hmm.
get a payment plan, or even I may just sit like, okay, what am I gonna do next? Something pops up in my email. Hey, we are giving extensions on bills. Ooh, thank you, universe. Instead of
Mm-hmm.
me saying, oh my God, $500. Now I've created that negative thought with the negative emotion in my realm, and now it's negative, and now it's gonna be. I, hey sister, you got some money I can pay my utility bill? No, girl, I ain't got it. My utility bill due too, because I already put that energy out there. So changing the momentum of how we feel about money, I'm telling you, girl, is a game changer. I just learned this. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not gonna say I learned it. I just started activating it, because it's one thing to learn something, but another thing to move in it, and that also has to do with dealing with self, dealing with our own barriers within ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So it's like everything that we have to go through to get to where we want to get to, we have to. It's a process. You know, lack is something that it's been embedded, especially in our culture, for a long time. It's a generational curse over the culture for me, and changing that lack is uncomfortable. That mindset, that's an uncomfortable feeling, So
Mm-hmm.
changing momentum for me is one thing that I have been working on, and it's something that's intentional for me that I have to work on daily. It's like, you learn something, you can't just do it one time and then
Be good
do it,
at it all of a
because
sudden, right?
the universe and God is gonna test you on what you say and what you want. So if I say I desire to have abundance, then that means that I have to allow myself to go through the process of changing my mindset on how I feel about money. Period.
Yeah.
So you can't ask for one thing without getting something in return. It's a reciprocating thing, so we
Mm-hmm.
think that because we're having challenges with money, that's a bad thing. That's a good thing, because your mind, after you come out of this, that mindset is going to take you to the next level of the abundance that you want, and it's levels to it.
Yes.
It's levels. People
Mm-hmm.
think, oh, I want abundance right now, or I got a big check in the mail. Yeah, you might got a big check in the mail. Yes, you manifested that, but you have to keep that same momentum to continue to keep manifesting more and keep getting the same thing or even higher on another level, because something else is going to come to take you to that higher level. Nothing, it's not bad, it's just going to come to help elevate you. Okay, now you got this amount, now let me take you next level to get another amount, or maybe let me take it from you and see how you feel without it.
Yeah, it's a test, right? To
Let
see
me
see
see.
how you
Let
manage.
me see how you feel
Uh-huh.
without it. Detachment is another thing, being
Mm-hmm.
unattached.
That's
Like,
that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, one thing that I learned is letting go of the attachment
mm-hmm,
and not holding on so hard, because it was so many times in my past where I was just down to my last, my absolute last, and I did not know where another dollar would come from. But somehow creator found a way to provide it for me, and I did not have to go out of my way to do anything.
mm-hmm,
I just received it, just
mm-hmm.
stopped to receive the energy, and I always was taken care of that way. So
Yeah.
it's not an easy practice,
Mm-mm.
because you always want to we feel like we want to be in control of our
Mm-hmm.
lives, right? We want to be in full control, but we it just doesn't work that way. You
Mm-mm.
just have to let go and be open to receiving the energy from the universe.
Mm-hmm.
And I swear it works for me every time. Whenever I need a dollar, it comes from
Girl,
somewhere,
I'm
and I'm
telling you,
just so grateful.
I,
Yeah, it comes from somewhere.
I've experienced it. When I quit my job, I was like, I was making $100,000 a year, and I'm like, where is the money going to come from? Like, me and my kids are used to a certain type of lifestyle, I'm like, I don't see any money coming anywhere. But the more I got unattached, and I'm just now completely like detached from money. Like, I'm finally at the
Hmm.
point where it's like, everything I need I have, and what I don't have is gonna come to me because I attract it.
Hmm.
And like you said, it's like money just ding, my phone will go off, or I get an Etsy, or I get somebody book something, or it's like somebody may come bless me, and it's a beautiful feeling to know that you are taken care of without having to force it, without having to work so hard. Like I love it. I love this space. I
Mm-hmm.
love it, and I would never go back to um that mindset of lack and worry anymore. Never, because
Mm-hmm.
that made me look old. I look too. I can't do that no more. Made me look and feel. Oh, I didn't feel good. You don't feel good. You just don't.
No, not at
Miserable.
all.
You just like trying to continue to figure out ways and get quick hustles. And I'm like, I don't want to do the quick hustles and all that stuff anymore. I just want to be and let things find me. And if it's for me, it's gonna find me. And if not, then
Absolutely. Yes.
I can wait on it. It's something. It's something that I have to learn. And so I spend my time when I don't have trying to understand myself why I don't have it. Do I really need it? Is it something I need that's added towards me? Or do I just need to allow myself to go through what I'm going through to gain access to the more of the abundance that I desire to have? That's going to give me longevity, going to give me
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want just no right now money. I want generational money. I'm after,
Heck yeah.
so that means that I got to go through higher levels to get generational money within myself. I'm willing to do that. I'm willing
Mm-hmm.
to sacrifice myself to get access to the generational wealth.
Mm-hmm.
That's big stepper.
Yep.
Big stepper.
Mm-hmm.
Big stepper,
Now
should I
tell me.
say.
Now, first and foremost, I wanted to ask you, like, so what started you on this journey of healing and especially empowering women like you do now?
Um, Many things started me, so I'm just gonna give you a few things. The first thing was I got tired of being strong. Like, why do I have to be strong? Who told me that? I got tired of being strong. And when I gave up that, it opened my eyes to see myself, and then looking at my children. Um, I looked at them and I saw a reflection of me. And that reflection that I saw was like, wow, I need to do some adjustment. I need to change some things because um, I'm tired of being strong, and I'm tired of lying to myself and lying to my kids, because I see my kids going a different direction, and it's frustrating for me. But they're only in that space because I was there. I created them. I told my daughter this last week. I said, when I realized that I created five beings, I realized that was enough. Why was I carrying all that weight? For what? So I needed to start finding um, ways to get myself in a space to be what I needed my children to see, because what they were looking at in the world wasn't a representation of what they needed to become. So I had to make the adjustment. I had to go through a lot of what I want to say. I had to go back and revisit my childhood, because that's really where it all begins for everybody, and that's ugly. And so I had to realize that I had issues from childhood trauma, with my decision making, with my choosing, the relationships I was in, the friendships, the jobs, just everything. And I was tired of that, tired of being in that cycle. I felt like I was getting up every single morning and just going through the motions. And I'm like, that's not life. That cannot be life. And what am I showing my kids? So my kids played a big part in me really seeking to understand more of myself, because I owe it to them to be the best version of me, and I wasn't being that. And so I began to start my journey, girl, of healing. And the more I did that, the more I saw how broken I was, and how I always had the light. I just didn't have the tools to know how to use them. And when I started doing my work within myself and started understanding that all the trauma, the abuse, the not knowing like who I really was, I knew I had to start. And then when I started unfolding all those things, I started to look at the women around me, and which were my mother, my sister, just my immediate circle. They were going through the same things too. So that right there And I've always been the person in my group of friends that always have been the one that they always said I was wise. I didn't see that, but I understand it now. And so I was like, I'm coming to you with my issues, and you come to me with your issues. Somebody gotta wake up, And so somebody gotta step out and move forward, because if neither one of us or none of us do, then we all are going to be stuck in this trauma, in this matrix of this cycle of unhealing. And I didn't want to continue to do that. So healing myself and understanding myself. And I'm gonna say this: I never really, really liked women. Isn't that crazy? I never really liked women.
No, it's not crazy. It's
They are
not.
too. They
I,
they they are just. It was just too much mess and just too much. I just, so for me to come back around full circle and have to heal women was something different for me, because I'm like,
yes.
wait a minute, you mean tell me I gotta be friends with women, other women, and help women listen to their trauma and their issues? And I took that as a challenge, because I love a challenge. I love to be a challenge. So when I started talking to my sister and my mother and just the women around me, I knew that I had to take that step. So therefore, they can have something that was close to them, that represented them and understood them, to help them, because I've always been an open book. I've always been transparent. I've always been who I was. But when I started my healing journey, I started to feel more empowered on who I was becoming. And when I started becoming, then I started relating to women, because we all got the same, it was like, you got that issue too? You've been through a bad relationship? You got kids, and you had sexual abuse, and, you done went to school, and you done got married and done things the right way. You went through all these things. And so when I started looking around that everybody was a representation of what I was, I'm like, hey, we got to get this together. And so I started with my sister, my children, my mom, and then the extension of my tribe, which are the women around me. And then when I started seeing them transforming, I knew then I was in the work to help women, and to feel and to see their light, to see them grow. Um, that empowered me to want to empower them. My healing journey doesn't just involve me; it involves everything attached to me. So that means that without me having to do the work, everything attached to me can't rise to be their highest potential of themselves. And because I desire to see people in a positive space, in a loving space, I can allow anything around me to fall. So I empower myself, so therefore I can empower others, because I see how good it feels. I see how liberating it feels. I see how free it feels to just be your true self, and get all that junk off of you, because once you get all of what's in you out into people that makes you feel comfortable, then you're okay with your healing process. You're okay with your healing journey, because you don't feel judged. I've been judged. I feel like I was hung on the cross, as people would say. I've been hung on the cross, seems like, for forever. Now, I don't want people to feel like that, because I know what it feels like. You don't want to see,
Mhm.
I don't like to see anybody else hurting. And when I see that, it makes me want to go dig in deep within myself. What can I give them? What part of me can I give them to give them hope to want to continue to keep seeking and finding and loving themselves, because self
Mhm.
love is really, really the big key to healing.
Yep, and I just learned that recently. But I can really relate to your journey because, like you said, you, and it's not weird because I went through the same thing with not being able to connect with women and relate to women. I actually mentioned this on one of my other episodes. Um, I was always the person that was a tomboy growing up. I
Mm-hmm.
hung out with the guys. I played basketball. I was just not interested in hanging out with the girls in the block.
Mm-hmm.
I just couldn't find that connection. And when I got to college, I had a little girl group in high school, but then when I got to college, I was on my own and I was like still trying to find myself, and I just did not have that connection to women until, like you said, into adulthood, when I noticed that we are all really on this similar journey together. We're walking this same path, just in a different
Yeah.
aspect, but we're going through the same things, and we can really connect and relate to each other through sisterhood that way.
Mm-hmm.
And You had mentioned that you got tired of being strong, like you got tired of being in your masculine
Mm-hmm.
energy, and even I had a period of time where I had to be forced into the role of single motherhood,
Mm-hmm.
where I had to be the provider and the protector and be strong for my children because
Mm-hmm.
I was their only I was just their only caretaker. So I was adopting the masculine energy and the feminine energy, and it was hard for me to balance that.
Mm.
Um, and then you said that you had to kind of reflect and take it back into your childhood,
Mm-hmm.
which we call shadow work. Shadow
Yes.
work, right? It's very important. That shadow work
Very,
is very
very.
important. I swear.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I even talked about this in my last episode as well. Um, a lot of the things that we carry into our adulthood do happen from
Mm-hmm.
childhood, and we don't even realize it. So it takes a lot of active self-reflection
Mm-hmm.
to revisit the past and bring up those hurtful, sometimes very emotional
Mm-hmm.
topics that cause us trauma
Mm-hmm.
in order to heal from it and grow. Um, so I can definitely, I can feel my journey. I can hear my journey, and with what you're saying, I've been through
Girl.
a lot of similar things as you. But moving forward, so I want to address femininity in particular.
Mm-hmm.
What does femininity mean to you? Because it means, I think that it means different things to different
Mm-hmm.
people, and I'll kind of get into that after I hear what it means to you.
Okay. To me, embracing your silence is one thing
Mm,
because when you understand that your silence is one of your powers, you begin to embrace it, and
mm,
it allows you to be still. It allows you to hear others, and that's something that is hard sometimes for us as women is to be. I speak for myself.
yes,
I'm not speaking for nobody else. But girl, look,
I
I'm
can
quick to
agree.
shut up. No, I said, but I've learned over the past few months that sometimes silence is necessary because you get to hear yourself, you get to hear others, you get to get clarity, you get to find more peace, you find more freedom, you get to find more understanding about yourself and other people. And embracing that allows you to not only see other people's truth, but it also gets to see your truth too. Also gets to put you not in a judgmental space of the person that you're hearing. So silence is one thing for me with embracing your feminine power. Knowledge of self is embracing it. Knowledge to know that you are source is embracing your feminine power. Tap into your intuition, your creativity, and just being is all a part of your power. And these are all things I had to work through in understanding of myself because a lot of people would talk about what being feminine is, and it's like sometimes you're like I can't relate to that. You got to find what relates to you, not conforming to the world, thinking for yourself, not needing validation from other people, knowing that validation comes from within, being discerning, wise with who you bond with, and that's all coming from experiences. Like my experiences had to help me understand who I was in my feminine power because I didn't know because I was broken from the beginning from childhood trauma. So now I'm trying to rebuild myself, rebuilding myself from all these experiences, which helped me tap into my divine feminine. When you see relationships as collaborations and not competition, that's tapping into your feminine power. When you use your energy to nurture and to grow and not to tear down, that's tapping into your feminine power. All these things, like I said, I had to learn through experiences because tapping into your divine feminine to me is deeper than what we see on the outer appearance. We look good today, by the way. But we can always tap into that outside appearance and that beauty. But the old sayings like it's not what's on the outside on the inside. I heard that growing up, but it never resonated with me. It never because the world showed us something different what divine feminine
Yes.
is. They
Yeah.
want to put us, especially with putting us in a space to want to be masculine, when we don't have to be. We can be masculine and feminine at the same time when we understand the balance. So I didn't take my because I already knew that I can look good, I can put on nice clothes. I know I can do all that and work my energy and work room. I can do that. but it's not what's on the outside that matters, because when I go home, am I operating in that space with my children, with my family, with my man, with myself? Am I truly operating in that space outside of being in the world? What does it look like for you when you are tapping into your divine feminine? Are you loving yourself? Are you speaking kindly to yourself? Are you nurturing the things around you? Are you, I went and got me some plants just so I could start, like, things like that. Like, I started doing other things so therefore it can make me soften that part of me to be able to walk in what I say I am. So when you see me, whether if I have my dreads pulled to the side or to the back or a cap, I'm still operating in that divine space, because what I say to you is going to enlighten you. It's going to enhance you and who you are. What I give and what I bring to the table is divine, which is me operating in my divine feminine. Me knowing that I am source. So if I have someone come to me and they have a need for something, knowing that I am source, I know what to give, how much to give, and when to give it. All of that to
Mm-hmm.
me is, tapping into your divine feminine. And the other things, as far as like getting your nails and your hair and all that stuff, those are just tools
Yes.
to enhance. People go and run the massages and the self-care and self-love. All that is healing that enhances who you are within. It's just tools. Don't use that just completely the only thing. Sometimes I can sense when people are, if they say the divine, they not. I'm looking like, all you gotta tell me about how good you look, or you show me your clothes and what you're wearing. Tell me on the inside how you feeling. Tell me what you be. Tell me some ugly things about you, because that's getting to your divine feminine. Because you completing the whole with your of who you are. You are authentic. That's being divine. That's tapping into your feminine side, like being true to who you are. All the way around, and then adding that extra. That's icing on the cake when I go get my hair done. My man be like, "Babe, you look good today," but he tell me that even when I'm laying here with my do rag on. You know, I'm divine even then, So putting a little extra on top of what we already are, to me, just adds more into your divine feminine. So a divine feminine woman knows herself, and she knows that she is source. And also she's done that shadow working. That means that I'm transparent on everything that I am, what I want to be, what I want to become. When people come around me, be careful, mindful what you ask me, because I'm gonna be transparent about it, because I want you to see the beauty of what I am. I'm on. I could be ugly and beautiful at the same time. I can take my things that I've been through, turn it around and nurture that, and then show you the essence of my beauty by the way that maybe I may touch you, the way I may hug you, the way I embrace you shows you how divine and feminine I am, because I embrace you with love. But then I also can be tough too. But that my masculine side that also shows you how feminine I am. I don't have to be all the way. I've never been that girly. I call it girly. And I'm not talking, I'm not downplaying the girly girls. I love y'all too. Well, I'm speaking for myself. I wasn't a soft woman until I started understanding that I needed to be soft. I had to heal and be soft to myself. So I can't be a defined feminine woman if I haven't been that to myself first. If I haven't been kind to myself when I have those negative thoughts, if I haven't had any positive affirmations that I'm speaking for myself to empower myself, I have to be all that to myself to even be that light, to be feminine, for another woman to be attracted to that, to want to find that for herself. So that's just me, my journey, my personal little 2 cents on what divine feminine is for me.
And that is a pretty complete explanation. I think that encompasses a lot of, the true essence of femininity. And I think that a lot of times it is often misconstrued by a lot of people that femininity means going, like you said, going to get your
Mm-hmm,
hair done, getting your nails done, always looking good
mm-hmm,
for the opposite sex or for people around you. And that is literally just a
right.
fraction of what creates it's not even okay. So it is a part of being feminine,
Mm-hmm,
right? But it's not what creates a feminine
mm-hmm.
being, just like you were explaining. And I wrote down some notes if you see me looking to the sides,
Oh,
because I'm glancing at my
yeah.
notes. But the one thing that you mentioned in the beginning is embracing the silence, and that is big because oh my
Woo!
gosh, it's so hard for
I'm
us.
telling you.
It's so hard for us, and we've been conditioned now that we are so masculine that
Mm.
we feel like we need to argue with the men,
Mm-hmm.
right? We need to it's so ugly too.
Yes.
I'm sorry. It's really, it's not an attractive trait to see women screaming
Mm-hmm.
and yelling and being loud, and it is so refreshing to see when a woman can just sit back and listen and just receive
Mm-hmm.
information and just listen to understand without being defensive. And I am guilty of
Mm-hmm.
it, so I can't say that I'm not guilty, but because if I'm triggered by something that my husband says, then sometimes I try my hardest to just sit back and
Mm-hmm.
listen to understand. But it's
It's
hard, it's just hard. And I think because we're coming from a place where we are have just been so misunderstood for so
mm-hmm.
long, and we're just like,
Yes.
we just want to be understood, we just want you to hear
Yes.
us, right? So but it comes out it comes out as aggression,
Ooh,
as yelling, you know but we just
emotional.
want to be, exactly. And they don't understand that we're just really kind of operating from a place of pain, and we just
Mm.
want to be understood. But that's not to say that it's okay to
Mm-hmm.
do. We
Mm-hmm.
need to really try to focus on being more being able to just actively listen to understand.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I had to learn. I had to learn that.
Mm-hmm.
It took a while, but I had to learn, just you don't have to respond every
Mm-hmm.
time. You don't have to come back with, you
Mm-hmm.
don't have to get defensive every time. Just listen to see where the other person is coming from,
Yes.
because a lot of times they're just trying to be heard too
Mm-hmm.
and understood. So that's a big thing that you touched on. That's really important, is to just embrace the
Mm-hmm.
silence. and
It's,
and you show a lot of power.
mm-hmm.
It is a lot of power, and just being able to restrain yourself and show that.
To me, that is that's that right there. When if every woman, this is just my advice, practice silence. I mean, even with your husband, your children. I mean, I did a week fast. People want to fast, and people always want to fast. I tell my tribe, like, we fasting on some hard stuff. Let's be quiet. You know, fast on not saying nothing. Fast on not giving nobody any opinions. Like things like that. Because you have to challenge yourself. You have to create a new behavior for yourself because it is hard. Silence is power. I'm telling you, girl, I'm
Hmm.
learning that, and I'm telling you, I be floating on cloud nine. They be like, "What's wrong with you?" No.
Mother.
Well, mama, where the milk at? We got some soap. I'm like, they're like, what? And I can say that my husband he has helped me tap into that silence because he always says, that means you're not hearing me. You gonna let me talk? I be like, so now I'm going to child mode, like, within myself,
Hmm.
let me quiet,
Yep.
And when he speaks, I listen. And so I do a self-reflection. Was I Was I talking too much? Was I over talking? Did I allow him to finish the sentence? I want to hurry up and get what's out my head out because I want to be so right.
Mm,
Giving up the need to
exactly.
be right. That is also another
That's
one. I think
that's
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 another divine feminine. The need to want to be right, girl. That right there will send you have your head hurting all day if you want to be right. Like sometimes it ain't even that serious. Sometimes
I think that's like our biggest challenge, for
I'm
real.
telling you,
That's our biggest
girl.
challenge.
And when you are
Yep.
silent, it gives you a time to take in what that person is saying, get clarity on it. And now I'm learning I don't even respond on certain things. I watch my husband on how he moves sometimes. When we have our little disagreements, he'll wait to come back and talk to me. And I love that because he hears me and gets his thoughts together, and then he comes back and he talks to me with a nurturing, loving, just it's just so beautiful how he loves me. So it allows me to be the reflection of what he gives me. And that right there, girl, I'm talking about that gives me so much power to just want to be more of my feminine self. Like, let me know it's safe. Let me know it's safe and you hear me and then you're taking what I'm saying and sitting with it and come back and communicating that to me and then it's effective. Let me try that. And that has worked for me. My silence is my power. Now sometimes, and it's and in that power sometimes, depending on the situation, you might not want me to be silent because when I come back and I got time to think,
Oh
oh,
yeah.
It's on and popping in, baby. Give me time to think. Before I was moving quickly, and it emotionally made me feel a certain type of way. My blood pressure will probably be up. I have a headache. My vision getting blurred. I can't see, and I don't like not to see. I love my intuition and my clarity and my vision and my foresight. When I can't see like that anymore, I'm like, oh no, I gotta go back and let me be quiet because I need clarity on the decisions I'm making. I don't want to think in the old way. I don't want to move in that space. So silence is our power. We have to tap into that. And once you tap into that, everything else that I listed just gonna start coming. You're gonna start knowing
Falling
your
into
source.
place. Yep.
Because now once you're silent, you can hear yourself. You can hear your own thoughts.
Mhm.
Now you know your source. Now source is talking to you. I have to tell people too when they're like, how do I hear from source? I'm not gonna go too deep next. That's another conversation. But how do I hear from source? How do I tap into my be silent? Hear your own thoughts. Spend time with yourself. The
Yep.
good and the bad. The happy and the
Mhm.
sad. Get clarity on that. So silence is power.
Key.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, why would you say that it's important for women to embrace their femininity? Like, why is it important in the first place?
Because it allows you to connect to your mind, body, and soul. And that is important.
Ashe.
Mind, body, and
Ashe.
soul, because we're spiritual beings having a human experience, and it is so important for us to connect back to that. Um, it's liberating, it's freedom to just be and move in your own divine way with clarity, love, understanding. Um, when women embrace their femininity, it heals, it restores, it elevates, and it rises everything up around you. So that that
Mm.
that to me is important because I don't want nothing around me to die. I need everything to live around
Mhm.
me. So I need to tap into my energy, with my energy or my inner ori, which is me. Not saying that I'm not against all like I and this gonna be another topic. I'm just gonna throw this in though. But you know, I tap into all the we go hard into our ancestors and our orishas and our all those other things, and then sometimes we forget to tap into us. We are the ori. We are divine. We are just as divine as all those other beings. We have to tap into that because once we do that, everything else around us flourishes. So it's important to tap into our divine femininity because, like I said, it allows you to connect to your mind, body, and soul. When your mind and your body and soul is in alignment, then you are in alignment with self. You are in alignment with the source. That goes
Mhm.
back to what I said before. Knowing that you are source is a part of being your being in your femininity. So when we know that we are source and allows us to connect the mind, body, and soul back to source, then that means that everything else around us can evolve, can heal, can grow, can restore, can elevate. All those things are part of that. So I think it's important for women to understand that knowing yourself, that is key to tapping into your divine feminine energy, just who you are,
And
because you want to show that not only to yourself, but you want to also the girls, the children are following you. You know what I'm saying? And I have to be that representation because I got boys. I need to have look. I need y'all to find. You ain't gonna find another me, but I need you to know and see what a representation of what that is because the world is showing you that you go get big butts and big titties and all that. Like that's feminine. That's beauty. It is beautiful for that person, but what you want is something that's organic and real and true and authentic, and someone who is tapped into that. So whenever you lack and you need some energy, I know how to tap into my divine feminine energy, baby, and give that to you. I don't have to give it to you just sexually. I can give it to you and stimulate your mind, baby, with your mind. I want to feed your mind and your soul, and that a man is appreciative of that when you connected to that. My man is, but
mhm.
that's just me speaking for myself.
I'm sure most of the men out here are appreciative of that,
Yeah.
and literally that is what I call stepping into the true essence of a
Mm.
goddess. Literally, that's
Mm-hmm.
when you're connected to your mind, body, and soul, and you know yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That is literally the true essence of a goddess. So tell me about a time or an experience that you had where you had to tap into your femininity to overcome a challenge, a pressing challenge in your life?
I'm going back to my challenge for my kids in the beginning.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
And also I'm gonna go a little deeper because I know I spoke about that already with my children, but overcoming sexual abuse as a child, that right there was the icebreaker for me tapping into my divine feminine, because being robbed of your innocence at a young age really is traumatizing. And you don't you try to understand why it happened, or you forget that it happened, and that affects you as you evolve into coming into a woman, because you don't want to be touched a certain type of way. You don't want to be talked to a certain type of way. You don't want to be controlled. You want to be in control because what was taken from you put you in a space to be vulnerable. So that right there is something that I had to heal in order to embrace my divine feminine. Because without healing from that, I couldn't allow myself to go any further into other realms of what I was and who I need to become. And also um, being attracted to what I deserve to have. You know,
Mhm.
um, that right there was a challenge for me, going back doing my shadow working with that, and then having to empower myself from that and to become what I need to become, to my full version of why I came here. And then understanding that that trauma for me wasn't my fault, and I had to be okay with that. I had to forgive. I had to let go, which is another thing that is in your shadow working. So that right there was the big that was like the biggest challenge, because from that one thing that happened, all my decisions in my life came from that hurt. And then once I healed that, everything else, girl, was cakewalk. I cakewalk everything. I sea walked on everything. And now I am recreating. Now I'm creating what I desire to feel, what I desire to have, and understanding that I am divine, I am feminine, I am I have went from hurt to healed in a space to understanding that that right there was necessary, because without that I wouldn't be, I wouldn't have had all the other experiences to become. And so I'm grateful. I'm just grateful, because a lot of people struggle with that. And I want to tell women who have been through that don't struggle with that anymore. Let that go. Forgive yourself. What happened to you happened, and it was not your fault. And other women are experiencing the same thing. But once you face that, because we all have our own inner struggles and our own issues that we're dealing with. But once you face that trauma, I guarantee everything else after that, when you're doing shadow work, is easy, because you're no longer blaming or hurting from that. You're healing and becoming a newer version of what you want to become by understanding all of that. So that right there, and then being able to verbally express that to people. I just verbally expressed that to my mom. I've been holding that for over maybe 40. I'm 41, so I'm fine. I've been holding that maybe over 35 years, and
Mm,
that has kept me in bondage within myself. That kept
mhm.
me stuck. And once I released that, everything else is history.
Yeah, and I was actually going to speak on that, but you kind of addressed it
Girl,
all.
we so
Um,
blind. We are so goodness.
um, you, it's unfortunate that, you had to experience that, and a lot of women do go through situations like that when they're young, but not everybody heals in the way that you have. I know a few people that have taken the other outlet and decided to just feel sorry for themselves, and I can see such a big difference with how the outcome of their life,
Hmm.
how it ends up. They end up with people that they are toxic for them.
Hmm.
They end up adopting very poor habits in life, such as alcohol abuse or drug
Mm-hmm.
abuse. And they're just not simply not living their best life because they refuse to acknowledge
Mm.
that that has happened. And instead of, bringing up that pain, which absolutely hurts, you have to bring it up, though. You have to release the emotion, and it will hurt. But instead of doing that, people think that they can just keep it buried in and ignore it and think that they can thrive like that. And I've never seen anybody ever successful with doing it that way. So that's why it's important, like what you have done. You have become self-aware of that it was a trauma in your life,
Mm-hmm.
and it hurt you, and it affected certain decisions that you made after that.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you addressed it, you said it was like a cakewalk from there.
I'm telling you.
And it's definitely something that if other women have experienced that, it's, even if you need therapy
Mm-hmm.
or someone to talk to, just a supportive group to talk to, it's important to address it so you can move past it.
Mm-hmm.
So a challenge that you had to overcome was, through that experience that you had, and also you do it for your children, which I can relate to myself,
Mm-hmm.
because I have three little girls that I'm raising to be young goddesses as well,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a son that I want to see a reflection of a god, like I want to see a goddess. So when he is old enough to find him someone, I want him to know how to show that discernment and
Mm-hmm.
find someone that is healthy for him, right? So I do it for my children as well. Now I want to kind of switch topics and get into what role femininity plays with intimate relationships and dealing with masculine energy, because I think that what we see on media, what we see on TV, and I always go back to what we are conditioned to seeing on
Mm-hmm.
TV, is that we need to be physically attractive. We need to always be, be presentable for the opposite sex, but they never talk about what's going on the inside. Like, you could be pretty on the outside, but ugly on the inside. So what role does being feminine play in an intimate relationship with the masculine energy?
It gives that balance. It gives that yin and that yang. When the man is understanding that he is feminine and masculine too, it
Yeah,
also
true.
gives that balance for the relationship and the attraction. I tell my husband this all the time. I'm like, I've always been a lover of men, not meaning like an intimate lover of men. Like I love to see men do well. And because I can nurture from a space, I can give a mothering, nurturing love and wisdom and guidance and clarity to a masculine man who understands. Sometimes they don't understand themselves. They're looking for that divine feminine women to bring that nurturing to them. That brings an attraction, and then when you're with someone that understands who you are, understands what a woman is, not what the world says it is, then it also helps bring that balance. To me, communication is key, and you have to be vulnerable. Both parties have to be vulnerable. I've always been in a space that I always love people where they're at, which helped me be able to love men that maybe didn't understand what I was getting, but after I left, they understood it then. You know what I'm saying? So it's like being able to still walk with the knowing of self and him knowing himself. You don't have to completely know yourself all the way, but knowing, at least have a roadmap of where you're trying to go. So when you meet someone and you have a conversation with them, there are certain things that you will say to each other that would trigger good emotions in you to know that that person is for you. As far as like being attracted to that masculine energy, because I don't look at somebody just as being, now, do I want my man to be fine or what? What this? It just depends on what fine means for you. You know, um, I envision my husband. I envision what I desire to be with that match the energy that I want to give. So matching energies is important too. Sometimes if I understood long time ago that I was attracting what I was like, why I keep man, let me get yourself together. I love to thug me a masculine thug man. I'm gonna keep it real, because I got that in me a little bit, But it's like as I got older, I realized I needed somebody to feed my soul. I needed to be transparent that if I was having a bad day, I want to say I'm having a bad day, blah 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 blah. I want to be able to be very open with that person and not feel judged. Not feel not take what I'm telling you and use it against me to hurt me more. You know, so I don't think that for me looking for an outer appearance is what I am attracted to. I'm attracted to what does your soul say to me? You know, how can we create together? How can we build together? That's a man operating in his masculine energy, understanding that the woman is key. Understanding that what she has, she is the foresight and insight, and he comes to bring the protection and the security and the safeness, and him allowing you to just flow and just be. I'm allowed to just be, and I think when a man understands that and not trying to control a woman to be or want her to look like something else and allow her to just naturally be who she is, then she can be all what he desires for his divine feminine woman to be. And she can be all what he desires for her to be if you're being honest with each other, from the beginning. So social media and can be a big hindrance to people's mindset on what they view and what they want to have, because people are showing things that aren't really true. You can see people showing they love each other, and then you see them in public, and the energy don't match. It don't match.
Yep.
So it's like, oh, okay, I see what's up. But that's okay. That's what works for you. But people will show that, and then the people that are really operating in that divine space and that feminine and masculine energy together, you don't see that being publicized a lot. You don't see that being shown a lot.
Exactly.
You don't, because that's true and authentic. They're not going, and then for me and my husband, we like to live in real time, meaning that we live for real in real life. We don't want to show everything that we're doing. If you're around us, you're gonna see it. You're gonna feel it. You're gonna understand it, because it's a yin and yang balance. And you have to find that balance for each other too as well, because some men don't like to be in front of the camera. Some women do. If you find yourself that's what works for y'all, then you have to find that balance. How y'all gonna operate in y'all energies? Am I gonna operate my masculine energy or feminine energy? Because sometimes when we're handling the kids, sometimes I'm always probably in my masculine energy. I'm like, no. I said, watch it. My husband's
Right.
like,
Yep.
babe, okay, I'm like, babe. But when it's time for him to walk into his masculine energy, I allow him to do that. Because I know that he sat with himself. You know what I'm saying? He sat with the guy within. I trust you, But I had to go through a lot of relationships to understand that. I had to go through a lot of what the world told me I needed to be with to understand what a masculine man really was. It don't mean that you have to have $1,000,000 to take. You can have $1,000,000 and still treat me like I'm nothing. I'm just give an example. When my husband met, we would take dates in the car. We go sit in the water or sit under the moon and the stars. One day I went to see him, and I was like, tonight we just gonna in the back of my truck, like old school back in the day. We're gonna get in the back and get a pillow, and we gonna just sit back here and just be. And for him and for us to experience that together, when he had to, when he could say, no, we can go be here, we can go, let's go out to eat, let's go do this, let's go do all what everybody else is doing. He was like, man, we can just sit here and just chill. We can just sit here and just enjoy each other's presence. That right there let me know right then that it didn't matter if we had to be homeless living in a car. Bro, I can go to the moon with you. And you still be masculine enough for me. I guess and what I'm saying is everybody has to find what fits for them, and but make sure that it's what aligns within it. Make sure that it's aligned for you. Do what aligns for you, not nobody else. Period.
No, that makes perfect sense. And I feel like you're the perfect person to ask this next question because of the nature of your work and how you have a sister circle and you are actively working to heal women. But what would be your advice for women to work together to create a more supportive environment to help help women step into their feminine power? How could we go about initiating something like just in with our within our communities, within our households? How could we create a more supportive environment, to help women step into their femininity and embrace it?
For me, the first thing would be to know yourself. Don't be a part
Mm,
and connect to anything until you have done the work within yourself. And don't go into anything with baggage. Go into everything
mm,
open, ready to receive. Because if you don't do that, if you don't go in with your eyes open and ready to receive, then you hinder yourself from growth. Then you bring that negative energy into what everybody else is doing. I tell any woman that's a part of my tribe when she first comes in, whatever you learn, whatever you've experienced with other women, leave it at the door. Because when you come in here, it's sacred. It's divine. We ain't recording each other. We ain't a lot of stuff. I don't put it on Facebook because it's too sacred. We
mm,
crying up in here. We doing some real
mm,
healing in here. We doing some real work. So women need to connect with themselves first, and then allow yourself to connect with yourself, and allow what you are to attract itself to you. Then once it
mm,
attracts itself to you, now challenge yourself with that person, individual. You know what I'm saying? With having conversations, with talking, with seeing where you're at, not talking to that person, judging where they are at. See where check your
mm,
own heart. Examine your own heart, like my grandmother would say, before you get ready to start connecting with other women. And then when you're ready to step into that divine space and you're ready to build with the women you have around you first. I tell my tribe that I don't have to have a sold out event, which I'm going to eventually. But right now, I'm focused on making sure we right. Because what does it
mm,
look like for me to stand up and y'all ain't where I'm at? What type of leader am I?
mm,
What does it look like for me to go on my Facebook page and see me empowering and loving, and then look on your page and then you negative? Nah, that means something ain't
mm,
right. So it's like if you're attached to something that isn't helping you evolve and isn't truly giving you the tools you need to grow, don't be in that room. Be mindful of the rooms
mm,
you go into. You know, I always tell my women, my divine women that we all the same. Don't look at me as like I'm just going through the same stuff y'all going through. When we come in here to be all on the same level. But when we rise, we're gonna rise together because there's more power if we rise together. I don't care about the
mm,
lights. I don't care about the look. I care about you being whole. And if you are connected to a group that doesn't care about you being whole, you in the wrong group. You don't want to
mm,
be. I had to tell one of my women one day. She called and she was like, she needs some advice, and I gave her my own. I gave her what I was going through, and I told her, I said, "Hey, look, girl, I got the same thing going over here." I said, "But let me tell you this: we're gonna get through this together, and I'm gonna be transparent enough with you and tell you the things that I'm doing. I'm not gonna keep nothing from you. Why would I keep what I know that worked for me from you?" And that's sometimes
mm,
I don't want to be no bigger than I ain't trying to be bigger than you. It ain't no competition. That goes back to that divine feminine women, knowing that I'm not in competition with other women. We are here to collaborate. We are here to be,
yes.
and when we do
Yep.
that, then once your group starts growing, I tell my women, once we start getting to a space where I feel like y'all are good, guess what? We all are teachers and students of each other. We all are teachers and students of life. So there's no need for us to feel like one person gonna be better than the other person or she gonna have more. No, all y'all are coming here to give something. I asked them when they come in also, I said, what can you bring to the tribe and what are you willing to receive? You need to know that.
That's a good question.
You need to know that before what am I bringing and what am I receiving? Because I don't want to come in here because it we gotta you got we're pouring in cups, right? If my cup is empty and I ain't poured into you, then how you gonna pour back into me? When I'm going through things, like I just went through something probably 2 weeks ago, and I disconnected from everybody. Let me tell you one thing: my tribe came through. They were like, "Hey, what's up? We ain't seen you post in a minute. We ain't heard from you." But it was so. beautiful for me because the love that they gave me. Some gave me encouraging words. Some came by one pull up on me. They did to me what I would do to them.
Mm,
Your people are a reflection of who and what you are. So if you don't like what you see, then you better change what's on the inside of you to reflect what's the outside of what you want to see.
mm,
So
I say.
you can't run a tribe and be a part of a tribe or want to build women if you don't see them as the same as you.
Yes.
Period.
Mm-hmm. Period. Mm-hmm. Now, you have a group of women. Have you ever had anyone come in that just struggled with finding their femininity and just like didn't know where to start?
Mm-hmm.
And what advice did you give them to help get them on that journey to embracing their power and stepping into themselves?
We go through. I ask them why they're here, why they feel that they are here. What is their purpose? A lot of times people don't understand that what their purpose is. What who are you? You know,
Mm,
I need to know who. I need you to tell me who you are. I mean, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I start off with shadow work. I am very intimate with my women. Like we we're gonna do things to make you feel vulnerable because when you're vulnerable and when you can express yourself, your true self, then you can start tapping into your healing. And then in that healing, you start tapping into your divine. And then that divine, you start finding your feminine energy. You start finding who you are and why you're here and what you want to do and who you want to be. Who are the people trying
mm,
around you? What do you love? What do you love to do? You know, I go through a series of questions, and and I'm gonna tell you, it ain't no overnight thing. The women in my tribe,
mm-mm.
girl, I say, y'all, girl, look, it's gonna take us 6 months to get through just one question. But I need you to understand that I'm here with you. You know, I became so this is why I tell them I became so we all could become. I went through hell so you wouldn't have to.
Mm,
Period. I did all that. I went through all that stuff because I knew I had to come back and get you. Now I'm back and I return back into myself and knowing of who I am. It's time to elevate. It's
mm-hmm.
time to move forward. It's time to whatever you're dealing with, we're gonna deal with it. How you want to deal with it, sis? You want to drink? Well, let's
Mm-hmm.
drink. What you want to drink? You want to drink some tequila? Or we're gonna drink some tequila. You know, I meet people where they are at. And when you meet people where they at, that right there makes people feel vulnerable enough to trust you and to feel safe. And when they feel safe, they'll tell you anything, knowing that you're gonna help them get out. I'm gonna hold your hand, sis. What's up? When I go to my
Mm-hmm.
people's house, I love it because they create a space for me. And I love that. I don't have no need to have I don't have to have a building. I don't have to have none of that. I'm gonna come into your home. And when I come into your home and I get to come and see your everyday living, that's how you know you want to heal. Because
Mm-hmm.
you invited me into your home. Now I'm around your family. Now because you I'm gonna see everything anyway. And then you trust me to be truthful enough to you, so therefore you can do the work. Now go do the work and then you come back to me. I get them assignments all the time. Now you want the key to the city, you want the key to yourself. Show me yourself then.
Mm,
And I'm gonna give you the tools you need to self heal yourself because I'm not your savior. You're gonna save yourself, and I'm gonna show you how to do it.
mm-hmm. Mm. Powerful.
So that's that.
Yes. Well, I hate to have to wrap up this
I know,
conversation because
girl.
I know we can talk for hours
You
and
know it.
hours and hours. But I really thank you and I appreciate your time and your wisdom that you share
Thank
with the
you.
audience. And I know that we will be doing this again,
Yes, yes, yes,
hopefully in the near
yes.
future.
We will.
Um, so can you tell everybody where they can find you on social media?
You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Mami D Wata Goddess. Mamid Wata Wata. Got it. Look me up, y'all. I look forward to seeing all of you all, and you all follow me. Um, Also, email me too at mommythewatagoddess at gmail.com. In August, I will be opening back up to taking more divine women. Also, men as well. I just got my first man client. I told my husband, I said, oh. I just got my first man client. I'm excited about it.
Yes.
I'm excited about it because I love to see the men heal. And so
Mm-hmm.
just stay tuned and be looking forward for more things coming. I cannot wait to collaborate with you in person, and to do
Yes.
more work because now is the time for women to truly tap into themselves and to heal and to collaborate with other women in building and being their true divine self, and operating in that. So I am giving you much gratitude for allowing me
Same
to
here.
share space with you on today in your platform because it was a beautiful experience and I am just so grateful to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. I say to that.
I love you guys.
Love you too.
I love you
Love you too.
guys.
All right, and we'll talk
I
soon.
know we will.
Let's keep in
I
touch.
will, girl. Have a good
All right.
bye.
You too. Good night.